Hello, my name is LaShall Bates, and I am a professor at Northwest Arkansas Community College. I'm also the coordinator for online learning for the science department. I teach majors and non-majors courses at the college. I received a CBEC grant in the fall of 2019 to implement a cure in my cell biology class. I used the consortium and the grant as leverage to obtain other funding to be able to put together a mammalian cell culture lab at our institution. The CURE ran in my cell biology class allowed the students to design and implement an experiment using mammalian cell culture. They also had the experiences with molecular methodologies. The tissue culture provided examples for other courses at our institution, including Principles of Biology, Microbiology, and an honors biology course. These are pictures of our lab, including the CO2 incubator, a cell culture hood, and a -80. A picture of the cells that you can see in our invert microscope, and of course, a gel electrophoresis. The students had the experience of interacting with scientific equipment in a laboratory setting. Something a little different than what they might do directly in a classroom. So we set up a space where they could come in and see, a setup and interact and feel like it was a little bit different than those labs that you do in class where we know the answer and we know how it's supposed to happen. In this case, they were not sure. They had to do the research to figure out the background information and why they would do the test they did. They had to justify it, and then they had to design an experiment to answer a question that they couldn't find an answer to in the literature. Our students are at the beginning of their educational journey, and this experience provided them with a springboard that allows them to further their goals. They get scientific experiments at this level, which should help them determine what they want to be when they grow up. We have students leave our classes and go on to earn internships, scholarships, and graduate level degrees. They come back to tell us that the opportunities they experienced in our lab had a major impact on the choices and the path that their future took. These are a few pictures of our students working in the lab. We provide a research experience in the classroom, along with a dedicated class that we call Undergraduate Research. In this class, we focus on helping students understand how you look at scientific literature, how you conduct a scientific experiment, how you ask questions, where you get the information to base those questions on, etc. CBEC, the idea of doing research in an undergraduate class, is very important to me. I think that it makes a difference in the students, and in fact, in my cell biology class, I asked the students, please pick one of the labs. Now, in my cell biology class, this is not the only thing we do. We do other traditional labs to make sure that it reinforces specific concepts in the class, and then use this to provide an overreaching idea of how science works. So the students had both those normal experiences, if you will, and then this research experience. And when I asked them, what was the most important lab that would make a difference and had most application to your future goals? And my students unanimously chose the cell culture experiment. Again, I had a group who had trouble with their cell culture, but it didn't matter. It was the experience in and of itself, the idea that they could ask questions that were beyond something that they necessarily had a reference for, something that they had to learn about in order to ask the questions. So the program, CBEC, AR Cure, has assisted me in furthering those opportunities for my students.